All right, we go to the phones, and joining us here on the program, it's the president and CEO of American Bank of Commerce. It's James Arnold, our good friend. James, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Chad. How are you?
Doing great. It's been a busy week for you guys over at ABC Bank.
Yeah, I'd say that it's unprecedented, kind of what's going on in our economy and in our world right now. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, what do people need to know when it comes to the CARES Act? And I know y'all have been really busy talking to your small business owners who bank with y'all already. What are they saying to you? What do people need to know, and small businesses need to know about the CARES Act?
Well, it's very fluid, Chad. I've never seen Congress move as quickly as they did on a bipartisan effort to get a bill passed last week. 24 hours within 24 hours, getting it to the president for his signature. And then that was on Friday of last week. And then Tuesday, we got our initial guidance from the SBA. And then it changed from Friday to Tuesday. And then from Tuesday to Thursday, it changed again. I would say, one, be patient. We're working as rapidly as we can to understand and digest where the SBA is taking us and what they're sending us. And B, we hope to have something up and running, if not this afternoon, by next week, in terms of submitting to the SBA for this payroll protection plan. That's the biggest component that we're working with right now. And really, what this does is it takes the bailout and the stimulus and the aid to Main Street rather than Wall Street. That's probably the biggest difference from this economic crisis than the one we had back in 2008.
Yeah. Well, and so the payment protection program, what does that do?
Here's what it does. It for 8 weeks, it pays it takes the place of your payroll. So it pays your people for 8 weeks to allow them to stay on the payroll, to allow them to stay on as a quote employed person. And so what it does is it takes your 30-day average payroll run times 2.5, and that's the loan that they'll make to small businesses through the SBA via local banks. And so if you have the same number of people on your payroll February 15th of 2020, and at the end of June 2020, that loan's forgiven. That's kind of the basic premise of it. Now, we're working through a lot of details and a lot of things for that to happen, and that's where we are today. Is we're taking the guidance we got overnight. It changed again, and so we're working through that. So we're on our third revision of the Paycheck Protection Program right now. Let me just tell you, Chad, we would not be at this point today had not been for Jody Arrington and his work in Congress. We were literally on the phone with him last night working through this. He's working with the Finance Committee and working with the SBA and the Fed and the Treasury to make these changes. Unprecedented effort from him. And had we not had Jody in Congress, I don't think we'd have this modified version today. It was dead on arrival yesterday afternoon, and Jody and his team and a lot of folks in Washington revived this thing and put it in a form and a fashion that we can use it, and every bank in the country can use it to make these loans.
If you've got businesses out there who, and you know this, James, so many of them are panicking. The small business owners out there, do they need to rush into ABC Bank today, or can they go, okay, we have time? Because I'm sure there's a question: is money going to run out? They want to make sure they're going to get covered. Do they have time to kind of breathe for a few days before they start calling their banker?
I'd call their banker today. I would say yes to both of those. They need to have a sense of urgency to get to their local bank and get in line to, get a loan on this payment protection plan. They don't need to wait for that. The Secretary of the Treasury on Wednesday afternoon and yesterday said that they will not run out of money. That's a quote from the Secretary of the Treasury, who's administering this program. He said they will not run out of money. But I would tell any small business, you need to get to your lender today and get the form filled out and get it submitted. Now, at ABC Bank, we've been overwhelmed, overrun with people wanting to participate in this plan. I mean, we bank small business, but today we are only taking care of our existing customers. We don't have the capacity to take care of anybody else at this point.
Yeah.
The demand is so great that we can't help everybody at this point. So I would tell listeners, go to your local bank, go online to the SBA.gov website, download the application, and get it submitted.
For those who are customers with y'all and they're listening right now, is there, and this you may not even know, this thing is so fluid. Is there a timeline? Like once they get paperwork to you guys and you guys get it submitted, is there a timeline when there's approval, or how does that work?
We don't know, Chad.
Okay.
That thing's changed. The Secretary of the Treasury made a lot of commitments that this thing would be up and running by Friday.
It's a quick turnaround. From D.C. to you guys, that's a fast turnaround.
Unbelievable, unprecedented, right? So I can't give any commitments as to when the money's going to be available, but I got to believe it's going to be quick.
Yeah.
I would think within 7 to 10 days that money ought to be in the street, right? To small businesses. Now, I don't know that, but I can tell you we're working as fast as we can to get this thing implemented and into our small business owners' hands. Time is of the essence. We saw what happened with jobs and the unemployment rate and the people that filed yesterday or last week at 6 million. Week before that, it was 3 million. I mean, we're going to have double-digit unemployment if we don't have it already. So this has got to be done quickly, and we've got to get this money into the hands of small businesses so they can keep people on the payroll.
James, we're visiting with James Arnold, President and CEO of ABC Bank. I read a story earlier this morning, and they were talking about a different state. I think it may have been Michigan, where small business owners are saying, maybe we can do this for another month, maybe we can hang on 2 months. Are you hearing any stories here locally where people are forecasting how long they can hang on?
Well, I think, we're no different than the folks in Michigan. I mean, there are some small businesses that probably could hang on for 3 and 6 months. Maybe 9 months, maybe a year. I think probably, Lubbock is fortunate, but I think they're not unlike Michigan. It's probably a 60 to 90 day window for most small businesses.
Yeah.
Health insurance is expensive. Rent, they got to pay rent. There's all kinds of things that they've got to do. And I think lenders and I think landlords, everybody's in the same boat. We're all in this together, and we're working with each other as much as we can. But everybody has commitments they've got to uphold, and so we're doing the best we can. But I think small businesses probably have that much time. That's why time is of the essence to get this money into the hands of small business owners. Yeah,
absolutely. How are you guys doing? How's ABC Bank? How are banks around the country doing?
We live and die on the backs of small businesses and consumers, just like everybody else does. So if the economy is doing well, we do well. If the economy is not doing well, we don't do well. So we're working with our borrowers. All these restaurants that are closed, we need to support those small businesses and do takeout as much as we can. We're doing okay, Chad. We're doing better than most. We've got ample capital. We're here for the long term. We've seen this in the past. We've seen these ups and downs. We're working with restaurant borrowers. We're working with hotel guys. It's across the board, and we're doing whatever we can do to help our small business people.
Yeah. Hey, James, normally we'd go longer on this, and I would ask you about the state of the economy, but sadly we all know how that is right now. And I know you're busy, and you guys are working overtime over at ABC Bank. We appreciate that. We appreciate what you're doing for our small businesses out here in Lubbock, and also the ag producers as well, because they're in this as well. Everyone's in this, so we appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to work and try to get all this under control.
Thank you, Chad. Have a good weekend.
You too. That's James Arnold,